Well, first of all then, John, can we start with your new chief scout? Paul Lemon's come in. How pleased are you to have that support?
Yeah, it's something that I felt the club needed to put together. I think I don't think it matters what's happening with the manager. I think for the club, that's a position that I felt since I've been in here. Certainly last year, even in the academy, it's one of the things that I felt we needed. Someone to identify players for the club. I've got an idea what I like to see, but other managers, if other managers come in, I think that's why you get such a huge scope in difference when you're looking at different managers, what they like. So we're guys are trying to attract a player. So I think for the club, I've said to John Crute about identify what you want to see running around on the pitch, and then it doesn't matter then when you employ another manager, which always happens. The manager is working for the club and not the club working for the manager, and I think that's important. So look at what your players you've got and bring the best manager in suited to dealing with those players, and not having to bring another 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 players in which are totally different to what you've got. So I think it's a really important position to have for the club. I haven't spoken to him yet to the regards of players, but I will do soon.
Yeah, Paul Lemon earlier in the week speaking about the fact that he's watched an awful lot of under-23 football in the last year or so. Is that the kind of market where Chesterfield can look and find value?
Yeah, well, I think I've watched a million 23 games. The 23 games. I don't think that there's players out there, and you want to get decent players on loan, but what we want to be looking at is players in our league. Identifying the best players in our league. You want to get out of our league, you've got to get the best players in our league, and obviously the league above, which then makes you hopefully a stronger and better team. You'll get young players in the younger, the 23s. I took Reece Williams from Liverpool. Everybody's ranting and raving about him now. But you've got to know those players, and you've got to have the contacts in those clubs to find out about those players and see what the possibility is of getting those players out. There are players like Reece in a lot of the clubs, but some of those players, unless you've got a good links, or the people in those big clubs, you might not get them out. They'll end up going somewhere else. So Liverpool did us a huge favour when I was at Kidderminster, and likewise, it gave Reece the experience. So those players are around the 23s, but I wouldn't want too many under 23 players, because it's a tough league, and sometimes when you're looking at taking someone on a first loan, it can be very difficult for that player. So it's just getting the balance right, really.
In terms of Paul coming in, is that the first step in terms of the recruitment system being set up? Are there more steps for Chesterfield to take?
Well, I think it's a process. It's having someone in. It's identifying players. One of the things that's taken up a lot of my time, certainly through the summer and certainly while I've been in, is I'm having to deal with agent after agent after agent after agent. And every agent's got the best player, which and every player they've got can do a brilliant job for us. Some of the players I've seen, I know. Some of the players I don't know. But what I don't want to be doing is spending all my time on the phone dealing with agents. I think that's somebody else's job. We identify players. Going out and looking at players is different. But then we'd like to know, trying to find out everything about that player. So when we identify one, we know everything about him. We're not spending all afternoon ringing round agents, ringing round other players, trying to find out who a player's agent is, or whether a player is available or not. So, I think that's a huge job in itself. So, which frees up then, certainly myself to do things that I feel are more important at this moment in time.
Well, let's talk matters on the pitch then. great to get through in the cup last week. How much of a lift has that given the group?
Well, obviously give us a good lift. Yeah, I felt we thoroughly deserved the win. I thought we were good on the day. Thought we did the work that we'd done. We obviously paid off. We played a good side. We know that, and then when you get to the penalties, it becomes a lottery. But we practiced them, so we could say we'd done our own work on that one. But I felt we should have gone through anyway, because I felt we should have had a Stonewall penalty. The foul on Milan, when you see it, more times you see it, the more times it's just a ridiculous decision that we don't get it. So I felt we thoroughly deserved the win in the end, and hopefully a boost to take into our league form.
Yeah, what are the big takeaways then from that performance in particular that you can take into these next few?
Well, just that we played the top of the league twice in the space of 2 weeks, and and gone toe to toe with them. We definitely should have got something here. I felt we were unlucky, but there you go. And certainly I felt we deserved to win in the cup game. So, we played a good side who were on, whose wage budget is probably, ours is probably a tenth of what some of their players are earning. So, they've recruited well. They are one of the favourites to go up. But we're just showing that we are capable of matching and sometimes being better than some of those teams. So it's just a confidence thing. Hopefully we can take in our league form.
Yeovil on paper look like they've had a tricky start, 4 draws and a couple of defeats. What have you made of what you've seen and the challenge going down there this week?
Well, I think they're very similar to us. I think they're similar in regards of they are a big club who are a scout for people. So they'll find, like we find, every game's a really difficult game for us. They've got, technically they've got good players. They've got some good players on paper. It doesn't always pan out that way. When you need a little bit of luck somewhere. You need to grind something out. A very good football side. They will cause us problems if we're not at it, defensively. So. But very much like us, probably, confidence a little bit low at the moment, which it would be if they've had the results that they've had like we've had. So, yeah, it'll be a tough game.
Best of luck to you, John. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
John, did the players who came in on Saturday against Stockport, you made 5 changes. Did they impress you and give you something to think about for the weekend?
Yes. But I think about the team on its merits for every game. It was a game that I felt on Saturdays. We did our own work off the first game, looking at what their strengths were, where they caused us problems, and put those down in a list and go, right, okay, that's where we felt they were dangerous. And we worked on it. We went with the 3 up top because I felt sometimes if you keep sitting on the ropes, you're going to end up getting a sucker punch. So, I spoke to the players about going the other way and being more positive and having the extra man up front, which I knew would cause them some problems and make it difficult for them to play out. And it worked. It worked well, but it's one of those. It can. We got away with it last week. We got to try and do the same thing for this game on Saturday.
And is the 3 up front something that you're having a look at again long term? Is that the sort of way that you want to go, or was it just specific for that match?
No, I think just looked at that game and saw that we felt that 3 would cause Stockport problems. Sometimes I don't think it's about formation. I've said it before. It's just about applying yourself, and obviously trying to be better than the man who's in front of you. And I felt we did well to a man on Saturday. And we've got to we've done a lot of work on Yeovil for this week. And then we know exactly what they are. We know where the strengths are. We know what hopefully the weaknesses are. And we've got to try and do what we did on Saturday and do it again and do it well.
And Milan Butterfield scored his first goal for the club and scored the winning penalty as well. How is he in terms of where you want him to be in stepping up to the National League and getting used to his teammates? Is he sort of a bit inconsistent? Is he improving day by day? How would you describe it?
Well, he's getting better. He's only come in. He's 22 years of age. He's only a young boy, even though he looks like a man. He's only a young boy, and he's understanding what the level is. I think it's just a tough league for people. He's been used to playing in a team that was technically good. So he's played in a midfield where all the players have it's not been as hectic in the midfield. So it's a slightly different way of playing. He's playing with different players, but I know he'll only get better. I said this all along. He has been a little bit up and down. He is quite a laid-back character, but he's understanding more what this league is about, and what he is an intelligent guy. So I have regular dialogue with him. He knows what the improvements need to be for him, and he knows where he needs to be more consistent. But I have every faith in him. I think he's going to be a real asset to this football club.
And you were able to name 7 subs on the bench on Saturday, but you had to leave out Joe Rowley and Regan Hutchinson. What have they got to do in the upcoming weeks to try and force themselves into that squad, do you feel?
Well, like everything else, like every player, everybody has to just keep improving. And if everybody keeps improving, then I can't ignore them in the end.
And the Yeovil manager on Tuesday night, after they lost to Sutton, said that it was their worst performance of the season, and even went as far as to say it was disgusting, which is quite strong. And said that they've got a bit of an injury crisis at centre half. So is it a good time to play them or a bad time to play them?
Well, I don't know, because I've seen the game, so I wouldn't say that. I think sometimes after games, as we know, and I know too well, it can be quite emotional after games. In a game you've lost. Listen, Sutton are a good side. They're not bad, Sutton. So I watched the game, and they're up there, so they're not a bad side. I didn't think Yeovil played that poorly. I thought they were okay. It's like those moments when you're talking about with those individual errors, which cost you. They've had I think they've had a couple of injuries in defence, but it's one of those you just have to deal with. Is it a good time to go and play them? Only time will tell. I think we're like everything. We're looking forward to the game. And if we do well what we can do, we'll give them a game. We'll be competitive.
And when you do sit down with Paul Lemon, long term, what would be the sort of profile of a player that you would like to bring to the club?
Well, if it's me, what I would like to bring, we need the players that are more all round. I think it's we've got to have players who are capable of first and foremost. I think you hear all people now talking at the top level. You've got to be able to run. If you can't run, you can't cover ground, then you're going to get run all over, because that's what people are. All the leagues, you have to be able to run, and the facts are, if you can outrun an opposition, then you've got more chance of winning the football match. I'd like to have a team that technically are better. We're working on that. Have technically better players. Work on them, but because I'd like to deal with the ball better. I don't particularly enjoy the fight football, but you've got to fight when you're second bottom of the league. So we found ourselves in that position. We have to earn the right to play. I think we've done that in all the games. We've earned the right to play. Other than I felt we've been all right. Other than we've had to improve in everything. We can do better in all the games, but I felt we've been all right. Other than the 20 minutes or so against Wealdstone after we scored the first goal, I felt that's probably the poorest we played. But I'd like to be able to dominate a football match, but with the players. But we need more all-rounded players. I think that's important, and athletic players.
And just finally, you've been drawn against Rochdale away in the FA Cup. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I know what the supporters' reaction is to it, because I'm quite surprised. I didn't realise we've had them, I think, so many times in so many years. So I didn't realise that was the case. But for me, it's a club that I played my first league game for Rochdale ever. So that was one where I had one league game, and then Dario Gradi bought me for £1,000. Went to Crewe. So it's somewhere where it's like going home a little bit. I'm not far from that neck of the woods. I think it's a good draw for us, regards of it's away from home. We'd like a home draw, but playing a first division club, you get to pick your wits against it, see where we are. We will be underdogs, but I don't mind that. And it's a good game. I think it's a good game for us. I think if we do well in that game, then it can give us a huge boost. So, and the FA Cup's the FA Cup. Everybody wants a team that's in a higher league. Just so we've got that. So obviously the supporters aren't too happy about it because we've had them so many times. But but I'm looking forward to it. To be fair.
Cheers, John, and good luck on Saturday.
Cheers, Liam. Thank you. Sorted?
Thanks, John.
All right. I couldn't hear then, Ian. Sorry.
Yeah. A great result in the cup against Stockport, and obviously the reward that Liam was just speaking about against Rochdale. Jim Gannon seemed to think that we'd improved as a side over the week, and we could easily have had a draw the previous week. Was that your assessment of it?
Well, I said that after the game. Sometimes what you don't want to do is be coming and saying how I think we have been unlucky. I think we definitely deserved something at Stockport at home, but we never got it. And that's just the way it's been. But certainly we were more than a match when we played them here. And when we're going up to, people looked at that and said, I don't think, I think hand on heart, I don't think many people, including our supporters, would have thought that we were, thought we would win up there, come through that tie. I think it's one that people felt it were probably too much for us. I felt totally different about it. I felt we were so close when we played them here. Definitely should have got something from the game. And then I looked at it after and felt I knew exactly where I felt we could cause them problems and what we had to do. But it's all right having a game plan. It's you wanting then the players to go out and do it. And I thought the players were excellent on Saturday, and we got what we deserved, which was get through to the next round.
From his comments, he seems to have thought that taking care of Tom Denton was the major thing on the pitch. But of course that gives you great openings all over the pitch while they concentrate upon him, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and it was a first for me. I've never seen anyone mark Tom Denton from their corner. Like when we were defending, they were marking him to stop him clearing the ball. It was just, people getting so wrapped up with him, which is great for us. I think he is probably the most foul centre forward in our league, and doesn't get any protection, I don't think, because I think referees think that because of his size, he should be, either stronger than he is. But people pin him, people get in front of him. We were defending on Saturday from corners, and they were marking him, which I found staggering. I understand why they were doing it, but people do get wrapped up with him. But when Dents is on form, he's I've said before, I think he's the best at what he does at our level.
The appointment of Paul Levitt has finally plugged the gap in the staff that we've had for some years, really. Very important, I think, to have a scout, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very important to have someone who's dealing with that. Yeah, I mean, it's very important to have a network of scouts. I think I think that's the start. It's something that I've been saying that needs to happen for over 12 months. It's something that wasn't in place, that hasn't been in place for a long time, and it's an important role. So I haven't spoke to Paul yet, but I think the appointment is one obviously that the club felt they needed, after a chat needed to make. John's spoken with Paul about that role, and I'll be speaking to Paul probably next couple of weeks or so, just to to get some ideas of how he sees it, how he sees it moving forward. But certainly, for a club, I think it's important that we have this, have a person like that involved, so the club can identify players, so we don't get a massive scale of different types of player. And like looking at a profile of positions, what that looks like, and trying to work around it.
We've got Yeovil next, and on paper, at least a point, because they haven't managed to win yet. But that's always a rather fateful thing to think about, isn't it? Because they're a lot tougher than their position would suggest.
Yeah, well, I think all the I've said all the games are difficult games at this level, and especially they haven't won a game yet, but we're sitting bottom at league, so we've not been great at this moment. We're not in great shape with regards if you looked at the league table, but there's a difference when I work with our players every day, so I know what the morale's like and what they're like. I don't quite know what they're like there, what the dressing room's like, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. They're having a bit of a sticky patch like we're having. So, it's one of those games. We want to go down, we want to perform. We'd like to win the game, and we'll be going down trying to win the game. And then hopefully get a little bit of luck on the day, which everybody needs, and we can do that. But the game will be a very difficult game because, to be fair, they've got good players. So and they've got experienced players. So. It'll turn. You're looking if you keep doing certain things, it'll turn round. We just hope it's not on Saturday.